Boom. Hey, guys. We are live at the Phoenix Real Lunch and Learn again. This is episode 3 with Rich. And he's got a special treat for us today. He's going to run through a case study that I think via text message, he said he ripped out like 65 grand on this deal out in New Jersey. As you can see behind him, you're looking at like downtown Phoenix. So, here he is sitting in good old downtown Phoenix and doing a novation in New Jersey. If you didn't watch episode 1, how he's doing that is he's circle marketing the area, getting the good agent that's going to help his deal get across the board. That was in episode 1. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch it. But he's using that agent. He's not using some $500 service. He's using an actual good agent that's working the area that's going to help us get his deal closed. So that being said, he's going to take it away and talk about his New Jersey case study.
Nice. Yes. Thanks, Chris. And this is a perfect example of a deal that would have never worked with a flat fee broker. And it's so crazy. I'm starting to see wholesalers popping up like sponsored by flat fee brokers and pushing I'm like, guys, don't do this. It's you know what I mean? These deals have more moving parts. This is a retail deal. And obviously, if doing retail deals, anybody could do it. They wouldn't require licensing. There wouldn't be a failure rate with agents that's so high. It'd be like anyone could just pull it off, right? So this deal, I think will be an interesting case study because it illustrates a lot of points on what the reality is of actually doing these deals, right? Because you hear people talk about the checks and everything. And, obviously when people are selling like a course or a product or whatever, they make everything sound so easy. Just like with wholesale, like, yeah, I mean, all you got to do, find someone to sell their house, get it under contract and just give it to a cash buyer. I mean, it's not brain surgery. And you're like, okay, yeah. You actually do it. And you're like, well, it's a little bit more than that. Right. Yeah. Okay. So this one, and am I able to share screen on here?
Yeah. You just hit the little present button down in the middle right there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You hit the present and then you pick your screen and then I just add it to the stage and then It'll make us small and I'll make the screen big.
Okay, cool. Wants to record this computer screen and audio, open settings. Oh gosh.
Yeah. This is going, it records and it's going live. So just,
Got you. Okay. So, we're good. Oh, dang. It's saying quit and reopen. So give me 1 second.
Yeah. Just hop back out and jump back in.
Okay. I think it may let me pull this off here. So the address, guys, this property's
He's gone. Let me text him. Hold on. Back in. We lost you. Texting him right now, guys. Hold on. So, hold on. Technical difficulty. He didn't. He's trying to share his screen and with this app StreamYard. And if this didn't work, let me call him. He's probably just rambling down the thing. Hold on. Calling. Oh, he's back.
Please leave your message for.
All right, he's back now.
Okay, sorry for that short commercial break here. So
I'm sitting there talking. Hey, I'm texting him, guys. Hold on, let's get him back.
Gosh, you. Yeah. Okay.
So you got to say yes, and then you got to jump out, and it lets you add the permissions about being live and recorded and all. Now you can hit present and go.
I think we're good now. So I'm gonna hop into my email and I'll pull this off. Well, here, let me first show everybody what this house looks like, just to give them an idea on what the type of opportunities these are, because a lot of people wonder. They're like, what's better, wholesale or novation, right? And the thing is it's not two competing things. Yeah. Like the wholesale deals are best wholesale. Like if you can get your money quick, there's no moving parts and it's easy and it's a relatively close amount, is totally worth it. Like the velocity of money and moving deals fast is much better than trying to squeeze a couple extra $1,000 by going through this whole other process, right? But like this property, this would never work as a wholesale deal, like not even close, right? Because we wouldn't be able to get it at a low enough price for a fix and flipper. And is this presenting? Is it showing everything on the screen?
Yeah, it should have just popped up on the screen. I just added it.
Okay, cool. So this house right here, right? You know, we take a look at it, and this is kind of like one of those mid-level deals where if you really whacked them over the head and got it at 50 cents at a dollar, you might be able to pull it off. You know what I mean? But it's livable, but it's not like gorgeous. You know what I mean? It's just kind of in between, right? It's just a normal middle-class house. So I'll give you guys a rundown on the situation here too. So basically, this came in as a JV lead, and it was actually a guy in Phoenix. His name's Jose. Cool dude. Sent it in. He was like, this looks like a Novation opportunity. He went to NovationJV.com. And but one of my OG closers, his name's Jesse Aguirre. Really cool dude. You guys should follow him on Instagram. We've done a whole bunch of deals together, and he's, you know, helping me build the team and everything. Great guy. He's the one that took this. And the situation was this. So the lady we were talking to was actually the daughter of the owner of the house.
Okay.
And her dad is going through like a serious medical situation. So he was in the hospital. He was getting these procedures done. She was trying to, you know, do her best as a good daughter and help him handle this. But he was in no position to do anything with this. She was a bit in over her head. She had her own life going on. Like, obviously, she was, you know, you can't plan for these types of family situations.
Right.
And she was bouncing around from wholesalers, getting all these 50 cents on the dollar offers, you know, $140,000, $150,000 offers. And it just wasn't a fit. And this property was like free and clear. She knew she wasn't going the traditional route, but she was just bouncing around with these wholesalers. And she got a few wholesaler offers that were actually like close to her range, but like she could tell that they weren't for real. Like they sounded like they, you know, just got off the school bus and, you know, didn't know what was going on. She just didn't feel comfortable. And she didn't want to put her dad in a bad situation. So what ended up happening is, you know, we pitched the concierge service to her. So, you know, when a lead comes in, basically what we do, and when I say a lead, that means like someone submits something to NovationJV.com. We first call the person that gave us the lead first. Like we don't call the seller. So we call them and, you know, we basically review all the information on the submission, and then we talk to them and try to gather any other meaningful details. And, you know, because we want as much information going into the conversation as possible. Then what we do is we have the lead submitter call the seller, since they already know their number and they already have a relationship, and we have them do what's called a warm handoff. So with the warm handoff, we have like a script that we send them. That's just a short paragraph. And essentially it goes like this. It's like, hey, Mr. Seller, I wanted to get back to you. You know, we had a chance to evaluate the property and we were looking at it from a cash offer perspective. And honestly, it's probably not going to be a match. Like there's a number we could buy it at, but it's a lot lower than you want to be. And however, I do have some good news. You know, I have my colleague on the phone. His name's Jesse. And the company he works for has a different business model. And sometimes they can make deals like this work where it's not a match for us. And then it basically sets us up to take the call from front to back and run through our whole sales process, right? So we've got a really low friction process, right? So he ended up going through and doing that. And we found out, you know, it's actually like a perfect fit for a Novation, because her bottom dollar in her mind and that she would not move from was $200,000, right? So everybody else that seemed legit was 50 grand below where she needed to be.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys can see on here, we ended up selling the property for $290,000, right? And initially we thought we were going to be able to sell it for around $270,000, but it ended up being a better deal than we initially thought. We were wrong, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So basically what we did is we hired we called all the realtors that had sold in the area recently, which is what we always do. And we found this guy. His name's Scott. Scott is a G. Scott is awesome. Love Scott. He is like the epitome of doing all the things that a great agent does. He was communicative. He had done like 12 properties in the area. So he actually worked with investors and wholesalers just by coincidence and did retail. So he was actually really excited about the deal once he started putting the pieces together and found out kind of, how the mechanics were. And that's not normally something that we go in and just divulge to the agent because it's irrelevant. Like their job is to sell the property. They don't need to be, worried about what's going on behind the scenes, right? But he read between the lines and was asking some great questions. So what happened was we got a buyer kind of on the perfect timeline. But as often happens, there was some unexpected twists and turns and not for the better. So we got this buyer. We had a full price offer in, and it was an older gentleman. And come to find out, when it was time to do the appraisal, he showed up on the day of the appraisal and told the appraiser, don't appraise the house. I'm not moving forward. I'm not doing this. I'm backing out. But the weird thing was, is he still proceeded to walk around with the appraiser and look at the house for 2 hours afterwards. So our agent was like scratching his head. We're like, WTF, right? And what ended up happening was after he left, he ghosted our realtor, his realtor, and the lender. He disappeared. I don't know what happened. He went out, and we haven't heard from the guy since, right? And we did everything in our power to try to get back in contact as the lender and, his realtor was, but we haven't heard from the guy since from this day. So basically we were on a timeline, right, to try to get this closed, and we were on the ideal timeline, but obviously we were no longer on track after this happened. And we gave it about a week where we're like, hey, maybe he's going to emerge from a Las Vegas hotel room with a wild story to tell. Who knows, right? Like,
well, maybe he went to Las Vegas and lost all the money, so he couldn't close.
Yeah, or he fell in love and, got on a plane overseas, or who knows what happened, right? But we still haven't heard from him from this day. But after a week, we're like, yo, we've got a timeline. We've got a very sick person that's going through treatment. We've got his daughter who's like tripping out, wondering like what's going on. And we basically had to just remarket the property, right? So we took it off pending, put it back for sale. And then 2 days later, we got another full price offer.
Perfect.
So Scott's a G. He pulled it off. And this was like and all this was happening around Christmas time too, because you see the deal just closed on Monday. Yeah. And I think the offer came in. So I'll show you just so you guys know I'm not telling you a tall tale here. So it first went pending right after Thanksgiving. Oh, right. I was wrong. We gave it more than a week. Yeah. We gave the guy like 3 weeks, right? And right before Christmas, we're like, dude, what the heck? We got to get this thing back on the market. This guy ain't coming back anytime soon. We got to move on. But yeah, he listed it for sale. And then shortly afterwards, and maybe I was off on the timeline, because I'll be honest, I wasn't directly involved in this part of the deal, right? Jesse was pulling it off. Jesse took care of it. So I guess it was a couple days after New Year's, it ended up going officially pending. I think they put in an offer, and then there was just some back and forth before we marked it pending. That may have been the case. So it went pending, and then we were able to get this thing actually closed just a couple weeks later. Now,
but you stayed pretty close to your 60-day timeline, if I remember the original list date. So,
Yeah. So we still pulled it off. Like they were looking to move a little bit faster. So yeah, I mean, really in ideal world, we would have closed at the beginning of January, but we ended up signing an extension. And I wish I could say once we got that offer, everything went perfectly after that, but it actually didn't. There's actually more problems. As often there are in these deals. And it's funny, right? Because there's so many people that DM me on Instagram all the time, like at NovastionKing. They'll DM me and they'll tell me about all these deals that have fallen apart. And I'm like, well, where'd you get your training from? Oh, I just kind of, I just follow a lot of people. These deals aren't that hard to do. I'm like, well, weren't you just talking about all the deals that fell apart? Like, and they, and they're like, what? But we've done like 2 of them and it worked. I was like, okay, dude, that's awesome. Right. But the 3 that you didn't do, like, you probably lost $100,000. You know what I mean? And people don't see the opportunity cost of not investing the time and energy to either learn how to do it right or work with someone that does it right. Because these deals too, you will end up spending money. Like, there's no way around it. If you're going to give them a 5-star experience, that is going to at some point cost money because there's going to be someone that needs to move. What ended up happening in this case is the daughter actually took the, you see this pretty stainless steel range that's in here.
So
she took it. so we had the the appraisal, and they're like, why isn't there a stove here? Right. And we're like, there is a stove. And they're like, no, there's not. And so we call her and she's like, yeah, I took it. And we're like, oh, great. And I think it was actually the granddaughter. It was the daughter who we were talking to, her daughter that took it. So basically,
you got some Home Depot points.
Yeah. So it wasn't even Home Depot we went to. It was like this weird New Jersey appliance place. And the guy that we bought it from had an accent, and he wanted me to give him a credit card over the phone. Like, it was a little sketch. Like, I'm not trying to be like racist or anything, right? But he was like, no, we can't do it this other way and get it done in time. So we have to just take your credit card. I was like, well, let's FaceTime. Like, I at least want to see what you look like, just so I know who to send the FBI after if you run up my my business card, right? And the guy ended up being great. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong or anything, but I just thought that was weird. I'm like, dude, can I pay online? Like, I have to literally give you my credit card numbers over the phone. Like, let me FaceTime you just so you're not writing this thing down or texting it somewhere. Put it in there and then let's be done, right? So the range was like, it was like $945, something like that, right? And then we had to pay for a sewer scope. That was $500. That was part of the contingencies. And then in New Jersey, they have what's called a HVAC certification, which was another $500, right? So we're up to $2,000, right? Not bad to make, 67,000, but still, if you're a wholesaler and you're just starting out, for some people, $2,000 to come out of pocket and put after you just lost a buyer is like a little scary, or for some, it's not even possible, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we had a huge snowstorm. So they couldn't even access the house. So we had to pay someone to shovel the snow. Scott set that up because he's a G. And Scott also paid, and that's our realtor. He also paid for some trash removal out of his own pocket, and he got reimbursed at closing. We didn't even ask him to do it, but he did it because it had to be done. And that's a rare thing for the realtor to pay for stuff. Like, we never ask them to, but the really sharp ones, a lot of times they'll just do it because they're used to serving the people, right? That they work with.
There's certain things you got to do to just get the house sold, right? Like,
Yeah, he's like, dude, if this don't get done, my commission goes bye-bye. So let me pull this off, right? Yeah. So yeah, he ended up paying for close to $1,000 worth of stuff out of his pocket. So he got reimbursed at closing. And let me see. I'll change my where I'm presenting here, because I'll show you guys the Alta, because a lot of people are also curious about that, like the settlement statement. And then, okay, so this is what we do too, is we submit an invoice. This is how we get paid. So this is nothing fancy. This is actually just the template from the Pages program that comes free when you buy a MacBook, right? So here's how we determine what our fee is. So they give us the settlement statement. We have the this is the AC price, right? This is the offer from the new buyer. It also included a seller credit that was part of their offer, $1,500. This is our agent. He made $10,300. This is the other agent, made the $7,100. Then title fee, tax stamp fee, another title fee. They use lawyers in New Jersey, I believe. Yeah. I think there's like 2 different sets of rules if it's North Jersey or South Jersey. I've got a TC. I use Easy REI Closings. The link's in my bio, but they handle all this because, dude, I have no interest in learning all the ins and outs of New Jersey title work. Or the other.
Yeah, well, just a quick thing. If you're doing novations, or if you're just doing a traditional sale, any title company, any person, if you're doing a wholesale, creative finance, or novation, use somebody that knows what they're doing. Just my little. That's my little.
Sure. You want to make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, because a small misstep can create a big ripple effect, right? Yeah. And sometimes ruin a deal. Especially if you're doing in multiple markets, you're not going to understand all the ins and outs of every market, especially with novations. So this was the snow trash removal. There was $1,000 he got back. We took that out of our fee, of course, not the sellers, and then the deed prep. So that left us with a gross profit of $67,357. Okay. Now we do a deal when people work with us and they send us their leads. We give them the option. We say, hey, look, if there's any money that needs to be spent, we can either split it 50-50 or I'll take on the risk and, just whatever money that I put out, if and when the deal closes, I just want to get my money plus my money back. So I guess I'm like a hard money lender on like a extremely small scale, right?
Right, exactly.
And sometimes people will take it on. Sometimes people don't want to, because here's the thing. A lot of the people we work with, it's not that they can't buy the course or that, they're not capable of pulling these deals off. It's just they don't want to, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same with me with like selling my wholesale deals. I'd rather just send it to someone else. Like if it's Phoenix, I'm going to send it to Chris. If it's somewhere else, I've got my other boy that I send it to. And it just allows me to do what I do best, right? So a lot of people, right? And we're getting more and more of this. We're finding out it's like the reason they're not investing in the course isn't because they don't have the money. They don't want to take the time and energy away from what they're already really good at. They would rather outsource it, make a 40% net profit just by going to novationjv.com and, not have to deal with any of the hassle, not to spend any money, not have all these problems that we have to deal with on a daily basis.
Right.
So the split ended up being, so after that, I spent $2,300 out of my pocket, right? So I out of this, we took that off the top. Whoops. I guess I'm not trying to show my boy's address on here. He ended up making he tried to make $25,000. He made $25,000 off of this deal, right?
Yeah, for a lead.
For a lead.
Yeah.
He made 2.5 times more than our realtor made, and our realtor worked a lot harder than this guy had to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But shout out to him, because most people, they have too much pride and they don't want to work with anyone or split their deals, and then they try to do it and everything blows up and there's no money to split. They got 100% of nothing. You know what I mean? And then I'll just show you the closing disclosure. I know this is kind of weird, but like, it's funny whenever I post like case studies and stuff, there's always people that think that is fake. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, let me show you the actual thing. Oh, this might be the preliminary one. Let me see if I got it. Final CD. Here we go. I think this is the one that has our fee on it. Oh, maybe not. It might be buried in my email.
All good.
But for whatever it's worth, the real
you.
ones know what's up. Yeah. So, these deals are a ton of fun. If you want to learn them, right, you can go to NovationsKing.com. I mean, we simplify it as much as it possibly can be as far as the sales process, how to do the paperwork, all the known problems. But I can't really make a course on what to do when the granddaughter takes out the range a couple days before the appraisal, right? So there are problems.
It's funny is you just, in everything in the world, you got to be able to pivot. Like I did a post like, hey, it's January, I'm going to do 45 workouts, I'm not going to drink, blah, 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 blah. This daily life stuff, right?
Yeah.
Halfway through the month, my dermatologist, I talked about this before, I think we had to push our meeting last time. He's like, oh, you got melanoma, you need to come back and get that stuff cut out of your back. Like, right? So, I got 9 stitches down this left shoulder blade or whatever. He's like, oh, by the way, I can see you work out. No more gym for the next 2 weeks. So here goes my 45 workouts off the chart. No chance of getting my 45 workouts in, right? So, but my phone says that I've done 14,300 steps a day average, which normally people do 4,000 or 5,000. So I've done an extra 5 miles a day. But in everything in life, you got to be able to pivot, right? So if the daughter steals a range, you lost $900. You're still going to make a grip, and you got to be able to pivot, right? We lost your volume, Rich.
Hey, my bad.
Okay, there you go. You're back.
Right? So you're going to have some sick calves, first off. You can't do back day, but your legs are going to be popping, right? But like a lot of wholesalers too, this is really important on these deals, is you have to understand, they're looking for certainty, convenience, certainty, peace of mind and hands-off experience. I could have been, a real businessman and said, hey, she stole the range. How dare she? You're going to have to reimburse me. I can't take this loss of profit. I'm like, yo, we're making $67,000. The guy's in the hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
Buying the range. I'm buying the range. I'm not asking for the range.
Yeah.
I'm buying the freaking range. You know what I mean? And you got to make those decisions, right? And penny pinching and all that. I hate that so much. Like, and we had a question in my group earlier where they were talking about a lady that wanted to back out of a deal. She was in a horrible position. She was able to work around the refinancing. It's like, should you hold them to it? Should you file a memorandum, take them to court? We already did this. We already took pictures. I spent $300 on this. You know what I mean? It's like, like, let the lady cool off because she made a quick decision to stop selling. She may change her mind back and find out that that's actually not even the solution, right? But you have to, you get the certainty through scale. You can't ever count on one deal. Don't ever, you can't penny pinch. It's always better to just do the right thing. Even if in that deal, you lose out on a profit or you lose some money, but like God will bless you overall if you keep doing the right things consistently. And this is the thing with this business. It doesn't work at a small scale. If you're doing one deal a month, then if your deal falls apart, guess what? You're not eating. You know what I mean? Like you're on ramen noodles. So you have to understand, like, if you're not willing to build your own big team, you need to connect with people like Chris Eymann and his team, right? Or other people that are doing big things and realize, like, yo, you're not going to get rich by yourself. It's just not happening. You can get started by yourself, but that's not a recipe. I don't know. I don't know anybody that's like killing it and just been solo dolo forever other than Zach Ventures. But I mean, good luck trying to follow in his footsteps like Zach Keeps.
He's a
wild man.
Yeah, Zach's Zach. I mean, but timing is everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you buy 100 homes at 50 grand, like today, you can't go buy 100 homes at 50 grand, right?
Hey, he still took action because there's probably people saying, "Oh, don't buy it. Those 50 grand houses, they're going to be 10 grand next week."
100%. So he didn't have any fear factor. That guy just goes. But yeah, no, having 50 homes go or having 100 homes and then creating the cash flow, like, what's great about Zach is he created the cash flow. Zach could go to work tomorrow or not go to work tomorrow, right? Like,
yeah. Like he's just a psycho. He manages all his own rental properties. He just loves the game. And I think he really loves people. And it's just who he is. He's obviously ain't doing it for the money. The guy can buy whatever the hell he wants. You know what I mean?
His house is pretty sick.
Oh, dude. Yeah, bro. He's got an elevator, the sickest infinity pool. His view puts my view to shame because he's on a mountain. I'm in a big, tall apartment. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's that guy. Shout out to him. So
yeah, for sure. He plays poker too. He's a
dude. I don't want to compete with him in anything. Like the way his mind works, dude. He's gonna take every dollar I got, and he don't even need it. So
yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah,
I appreciate you jumping on here. We love that case study. I mean, what's funny is that pictures. I call them the tweener houses. Like, if it's the one that's full of trash and and it's down to the stuff, whatever. That's the wholesale deal, right? That's the one. But those tweener houses that it had the oak cabinets and the standard boring showers, and no one had really done the update on it. But it's still functional. It's going to pass an inspection, it's nice, right? It's not.
Yeah. It's like the hedge fund houses, right? But then when they backed out, and now the hedge funds are like glorified wholesalers. Yeah. They just send offers, reduce, beat you up. Like, I'm sick of that, man.
So, cool. Once again, thanks for jumping on. As always, you can follow him at NovastionKing on Instagram. I don't even know if you have a Facebook, honestly. But
yeah, Facebook Rich Wonders, but you're better off catching me on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook much.
Cool. Well, thanks again. See you next week.
Yes, thank you, brother. Sounds good.
Later.
All right.